Rafael Nadal, the gladiator, marches on at the US Open. Action replay.
Jagdish Shettar rakes up North Karnataka issue with the Chief Minister again. Questions as to why H.D. Kumaraswamy is not visiting North Karnataka temples during his temple run. B.S. Yediyurappa and Arvind Limbavali target Chief Minister on the IT comments. BJP state president says needless controversy being created over the issue.
काम की बात करो, मन की बात यारगू बेकागिल्ला.
Zamir Ahmad Khan takes a swipe at Narendra Modi of the rising prices of fuel. Shows strength attempted by M.K. Alagiri and his supporters in Chennai. Opposition to M.K. Stalin by his older brother. And the Jarkiholi-Hebalkar tussle takes a brand new turn. A loan given by Lakshmi Hebalkar to Ramesh Jarkiholi's brother appears to be the root cause of the issues. Hello and welcome. You're watching NEWS9 with me, Vijay. First up, we have some big news just coming in. B.S. Yediyurappa's son Vijendra has reacted on Chief Minister Kumaraswamy's statement. There is no truth in the Chief Minister's allegations, is what Vijendra is saying. The Chief Minister should not make such irresponsible statements. Intelligence Department officials update the Chief Minister on the movements of politicos. Chief Minister H.D. Kumaraswamy had said that B.S. Yediyurappa's son had met the IT Commissioner. Well, B.S. Yediyurappa's son has reacted on the issue of the IT comments of the Chief Minister. He says there is no truth in the Chief Minister's allegations. The Chief Minister should not make such irresponsible statements. Let's listen to what Vijendra had to say.
ಸನ್ಮಾನ್ಯ ಮುಖ್ಯಮಂತ್ರಿಗಳು ಇವತ್ತು ಒಂದು ಹೇಳಿಕೆಯನ್ನು ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ತಮ್ಮ ಏನು ಸಮ್ಮಿಶ್ರ ಸರ್ಕಾರ ಅಸ್ಥಿರಗೊಳಿಸೋಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ಯಡಿಯೂರಪ್ಪನವರ ಮಕ್ಕಳು ಇವತ್ತು ಇನ್ಕಮ್ ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ಅಧಿಕಾರಿಗಳನ್ನು ಭೇಟಿ ಮಾಡಿ ಇವ್ರ ಸರ್ಕಾರವನ್ನು ದುರ್ಬಲಗೊಳಿಸುವಂಥ ಪ್ರಯತ್ನ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಂತೇಳಿ ಒಂದು ಆರೋಪವನ್ನು ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಬಹುಶಃ ಸನ್ಮಾನ್ಯ ಮುಖ್ಯಮಂತ್ರಿಗಳ ಒಂದು ಅಸ್ಥಿರ ಮನಸ್ಸು ಈ ಒಂದು ಹೇಳಿಕೆಯನ್ನು ಕೊಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಒಂದು ಸ್ಫೂರ್ತಿಯನ್ನು ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದೆ ಅಂತ ನಾನು ಅನ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೇನೆ. ಖಂಡಿತ ಇದು ಯಾವುದರಲ್ಲೂ ಕೂಡ ಏನು ಸತ್ಯಾಂಶ ಇಲ್ಲ. ರಾಜ್ಯ ಸರ್ಕಾರ ಅವರೇ ನಡೆಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಮುಖ್ಯಮಂತ್ರಿಗಳಾಗಿ ಇಂಟೆಲಿಜೆನ್ಸ್ ಅವ್ರ ಹತ್ರನೇ ಇದೆ. ಯಡಿಯೂರಪ್ಪನವ್ರ ಮಕ್ಕಳು ಎಲ್ಲೂ ಹೋಗ್ತಾರೆ, ಯಡಿಯೂರಪ್ಪನವ್ರು ಎಲ್ಲೂ ಹೋಗ್ತಾರೆ ಅಥವಾ ಬೇರೆ ಎಲ್ಲೂ ಹೋಗ್ತಾರೆ ಅನ್ನೋದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ನಮಗಿಂತ ಹೆಚ್ಚಾಗಿ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಗೊತ್ತಿರುತ್ತೆ. ದಿನ ಬೆಳಗಾದರೂ ಮಾಹಿತಿ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಬಾಯಿ ಬಂದಂಗೆ ಯಾರನ್ನೂ ಅಧಿಕಾರಿಗಳನ್ನ ಭೇಟಿ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಮತ್ತೊಂದು ಈ ಥರ ಹೇಳಿಕೆ ಬಹುಶಃ ಒಂದು ಸ್ಥಾನಕ್ಕೂ ಕೂಡ ಅದು ಗೌರವ ಬರೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಸನ್ಮಾನ್ಯ ಮುಖ್ಯಮಂತ್ರಿಗಳನ್ನ ಮನವಿಯನ್ನು ಮಾಡ್ತೇನೆ, ಈ ಥರ ಒಂದು ಬಾಲಿಶ ಒಂದು ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ಗಳನ್ನು ಕೊಡಬಾರ್ದು ಅಂತೇಳಿ ತಮ್ಮ ಮೂಲಕ ಮನವಿಯನ್ನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೇನೆ.
Well, that was Vijendra taking a very sarcastic dig at the Chief Minister. He says that the Chief Minister is more aware of the movements of Yediyurappa's children because he has the entire intelligence in his hands. And he said, but the statements which the Chief Minister has made are just not right and they are not becoming of a Chief Minister. Let's listen to what B.S. Yediyurappa had to say.
ಕುಮಾರಸ್ವಾಮಿ ಅವರು ರಾಜ್ಯದ ಮುಖ್ಯಮಂತ್ರಿಗಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಏನಾದರೂ ಹೇಳಿಕೆ ಕೊಡಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಜವಾಬ್ದಾರಿಯಿಂದ ಹೇಳಿಕೆ ಕೊಡಬೇಕು. ನಮಗೂ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಏನು ಸಂಬಂಧ? ಯಾವ ಐ.ಟಿ. ಯಾವ ಇ.ಡಿ. ನಮಗೇನು ಸಂಬಂಧ ಇದೆ? ಅನಗತ್ಯವಾಗಿ ಈ ಥರ ಹೇಳಿಕೆಯನ್ನು ಕೊಟ್ಟು ಗೊಂದಲ ಉಂಟು ಮಾಡಿ ಯಾರನ್ನು ಖುಷಿ ಮಾಡಿ ಅಪರಾಧಿ ಸ್ಥಾನ ನಿಲ್ಲಿಸುವಂಥ ಪ್ರಯತ್ನ ಈ ರಾಜ್ಯದ ಮುಖ್ಯಮಂತ್ರಿಯಾಗಿ ಮಾಡಬಾರ್ದು. ಅದಕ್ಕೇನಾದರೂ ಪುರಾವೆಗಳಿದ್ರೆ ಹೇಳಿ, ನಮಗೇನು ಸಂಬಂಧ ಇದೆ? ನಾವೇ ನಮ್ಮದು ಹೈಕೋರ್ಟು ಸುಪ್ರೀಂ ಕೋರ್ಟ್ ಕೇಸ್ಗಳು ಇದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಮುಗಿಸ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋಕೆ ನಾವು ಪ್ರಯತ್ನ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ವಿ. ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ವಿಷಯಗಳು ನಾವೇ ತಗೊಳ್ಬೇಕು, ನಮಗೇನು ಸಂಬಂಧ ಇದೆ?
This is what B.S. Yediyurappa had to say, and let's listen to what Arvind Limbavali had to say.
ನಮಗೂ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಏನು ಸಂಬಂಧ?
ತನಿಖಾ ಸಂಸ್ಥೆಗಳು ಇರೋದೇ ತನಿಖೆಗೋಸ್ಕರನೇ. ಅದು ಮುಖ್ಯಮಂತ್ರಿಯವರಾಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಇನ್ಯಾರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಕಂಪ್ಲೇಂಟ್ ಬಂದಾಗ ತನಿಖೆ ಮಾಡೋದು ಅದ್ರ ಡ್ಯೂಟಿ ಮತ್ತು ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಯಾರದೇ ನಿರ್ದೇಶನದ ಮೇಲೆ ಮತ್ತೊಂದ್ರ ಮೇಲೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂತ ತಮಗೆ ತಾವು ನೇರ ಇದ್ಬಿಟ್ರೆ ಏನು ಸಮಸ್ಯೆ ಇದೆ? ಯಾವುದೇ ತನಿಖೆಯನ್ನು ಎದುರಿಸ್ಬೋದು. ಅದೇನೋ ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಗಾದೆ ಮಾತಾ ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ, ಕಳ್ಳನ ಜೀವ ಹುಳ್ಳುಳ್ಳಿಗೆ ಅಂತ. ತಾವು ನೆಟ್ಟಿಗೆ ಇದ್ಬಿಟ್ರೆ ಯಾಕೆ ಎದುರ್ಬೇಕು ಯಾವುದಕ್ಕಾರು? ಹಂಗೇನಾರು ಇದ್ರೆ ಅವರೇ ಹೇಳಬೇಕು. ಆ ಥರ ತನಿಖೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಂದರೆ ಏನೋ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ ಅದರ ಅರ್ಥ. ಮತ್ತು ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಭಾರತೀಯ ಜನತಾ ಪಾರ್ಟಿಯ ಯಾವುದೇ ರೋಲ್ ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಇಲ್ಲ. ತನಿಖಾ ಸಂಸ್ಥೆಗಳು ತನಿಖೆಯನ್ನು ಮಾಡಲಿ, ಯಾರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೂ ಮಾಡಲಿ ಅನ್ನೋದು BJP ಅಭಿಪ್ರಾಯ. ಭೇಟಿ ನಾನು ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು, ಅವರು ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು. ಈಗ IT ವಿಷಯದ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ನಾನು IT ರಿಟರ್ನ್ಸ್ ಫೈಲ್ ಮಾಡೋನು, ಏನಾದ್ರು ಕ್ಲಾರಿಫಿಕೇಶನ್ ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ನಾನು ಭೇಟಿ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ ಹೋಗಿ. ಮುಖ್ಯಮಂತ್ರಿಗಳ ರಿಲೇಟಿವ್ಸು ಯಾರೂ ಭೇಟಿ ಮಾಡಿಲ್ವಾ? DK ಶಿವಕುಮಾರ್ ಅವ್ರ ರಿಲೇಟಿವ್ಸು ಯಾರೂ ಭೇಟಿ ಮಾಡಿಲ್ವಾ ಅವ್ರನ್ನ?
Well, it looks like the BJP is going hammer and tongs against Chief Minister for his comments and for his temple run and for his issue of North Karnataka. The BJP is questioning the Chief Minister's statements and asking as to why the Chief Minister seems to be using the intelligence wing of the state government for different purposes. And the grouse by B.S. Yediyurappa's son Vijayendra and Arvind Limbavali is that H.D. Kumaraswamy seems to be keeping tabs on the opposition party rather than his own party members and what the government is doing. And we have some more big news is coming in. The Chief Minister H.D. Kumaraswamy has questioned B.S. Yediyurappa over his son's alleged meeting. I know what all is happening. I just shared the information that I have. Isn't it true that Vijayendra has met the IT Commissioner? What more proof do they want? This is what the Chief Minister has replied. He says, I know all that is happening. I just shared the information that I have. Isn't it true that Vijayendra has met the IT Commissioner? What more proof do they want is what Kumaraswamy is saying. So the issue really blowing out of proportion now. Both the Chief Minister and the BJP State President as well as his son trading charges over this entire issue of Vijayendra meeting the IT Commissioner. And well, both BJP leaders questioning the Chief Minister as to why there was a need to know as to what B.S. Yediyurappa's children were doing. The Chief Minister meanwhile saying that he knew what was happening. And it seems to hint at something mysterious, but the Chief Minister, this entire IT issue, his remark on the meeting between Vijayendra and the IT Commissioner has been blown out of proportion. Both the parties are neck deep in it, both trading charges, trading blows as well on this particular issue. And it was not just the IT issue which triggered off a row. Jagdish Shettar has brought up the North Karnataka issue again, and he questioned as to, with the Chief Minister visiting so many temples across the state, why isn't he visiting the North Karnataka temples? He has again highlighted that, according to him, that the Chief Minister is neglecting North Karnataka. Why is Jagdish Shettar's question? Why is the North Karnataka region being neglected? But it looks like each time the BJP needs an issue to debate on, to target the Chief Minister with, the North Karnataka issue is brought up. Now let's listen to what Jagdish Shettar had to say.
ನೋಡ್ರಿ ಅವರವರ ನಂಬಿಕೆ ವಿಶ್ವಾಸ ಇವತ್ತು ಅವರು ಮಠ ಮಂದಿರಗಳಿಗೆ ಹೋಗಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ನಮ್ಮ ತಕರಾರಿಲ್ಲ ಪೂಜೆ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ನಮ್ಮ ತಕರಾರಿಲ್ಲ ಯಜ್ಞ ಯಾಗಾದಿ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೂ ನಮ್ಮ ತಕರಾರಿಲ್ಲ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಸಮಯ ಕೊಡಬೇಕು ಈಗ ಒಬ್ಬ ವೈಯಕ್ತಿಕವಾಗಿ ನಾವು ಮನೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಪೂಜೆ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಬೇಡ ಅನ್ನೋದಿಲ್ಲ ಯಾರು ಮಾಡ್ರಿ ನಿಮಗೊಂದಿಷ್ಟು ಒಂದು ಅರ್ಧ ತಾಸು ಒಂದು 10 ನಿಮಿಷ ಪೂಜೆ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಿ ಆದರೆ ಬೆಳಗಿನ ಸಾಯಂಕಾಲ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಲೈಫ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಅದಾಗಬಾರ್ದು ನೀವು ರಾಜ್ಯದ ಮುಖ್ಯಮಂತ್ರಿ ಯಾವುದೋ ಒಬ್ಬ ಸಾಮಾನ್ಯ ಕುಮಾರಸ್ವಾಮಿ ಅಲ್ಲ ನೀವು ಕುಮಾರಸ್ವಾಮಿ ಇದ್ದಾಗ ತಮಿಳುನಾಡಿಗರ ಹೋಗ್ರಿ ಕೇರಳಕರ ಹೋಗ್ರಿ ಅಥವಾ ಕಾಯಂ ತಿರುಪತಿಯಾಗರ ಇರ್ರಿ ನಾವೇನು ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಮಾಡೋದಿಲ್ಲ ಇವತ್ತು ರಾಜ್ಯದ ಮುಖ್ಯಮಂತ್ರಿ ನೀವು ಎಷ್ಟು ಸಮಯ ಕೊಡ್ತೀರಿ ಅದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಸಮಯ ಜನರಿಗೆ ಕೊಡಬೇಕು ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ನೀವು ದೇವ್ರ ಪೂಜೆ ಅದು ಮಾಡೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಏನಂತಾರಲ್ಲ ಮಂತ್ರ ಉಳಿಸಿದ ಮಳೆ ಬರೋದಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಹಿಂದೆ ಯಾರೋ ಎಂ.ಬಿ. ಪಾಟೀಲ್ ಒಂದು ಯಾವುದೋ ಒಂದು ಯಾಗ ಯಜ್ಞ ಮಾಡಿ ಮಳೆ ತರಿಸಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋದ್ರೆ ಮಳೆ ಬರಲಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಆವಾಗ ಮಳೆ ಬರಲಿಲ್ಲ ಹಿಂದೆ ಯೂಶುವಲ್ ಕೋರ್ಸ್ನಾಗ ಮಳೆ ಬಂತು ಈಗ ಕೊಡಗಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಮಳೆ ನಿಲ್ಲಿಸಕ್ಕೆ ಏನೋ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು ಇವ್ರು ಏನಿಲ್ಲ ಹೀಗಾಗಿ ನೇಚರ್ ಅವ್ರು ತನ್ನದೇ ಆದಂಥ ಒಂದು ಶಕ್ತಿ ಇದೆ ತನ್ನ ಪ್ರಕಾರ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಿದ ಆದರೆ ಇವರೆಲ್ಲ ದೇವರು ದಿಂಡ್ರ ಹೆಸರಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಜನರ ಬ್ಲಫ್ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಹೊಂಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಕುಮಾರ್.
And that was what Jagdish Shettar was saying, a detailed but precise targeting of the Chief Minister, saying as to why is North Karnataka being neglected and why the temple visits to other places in the state but not in North Karnataka. Jagdish are really questioning H.D. Kumaraswamy's loyalties towards North Karnataka. Is it a deliberate attempt to leave North Karnataka out of the equation? What exactly is the reason Jagdish Shetty seems to be questioning? And the Chief Minister seems to have been the target of plenty of criticism and controversy, and he has now downplayed the critics of the English medium education. There is a budget proposal to educate children in English medium in 1,000 schools, is what the Chief Minister said. But some people have opposed the state government's move. The children of these opposers are studying in English schools, is what the Chief Minister is saying. Well, the Chief Minister is hitting out against those who have criticized the move of the government to educate students in English schools. He said those who are criticizing, those who are coming up with such criticism, themselves have their children studying in English schools. That's what he was saying. He's targeting members of the opposition and people who are criticizing this move of the government. We have some more big news coming in. KPCC staged a unique protest opposing the fuel hike in Hubli. Congress leaders led by KPCC President Kumaraswamy protested by riding bullock carts. Protesters shouted slogans against Prime Minister Narendra Modi as well. This is the big news which is just coming in. There was a unique protest led by KPCC President Dinesh Gundu Rao, where they started in Hubli, where they were seen riding bullock carts. Protesters shouted slogans against Prime Minister Narendra Modi. And this is how the Congress leaders decided to protest against the fuel hike. They were all seen riding bullock carts in Hubli. It was led by KPCC President Dinesh Gundu Rao. The protest was against the Prime Minister Narendra Modi and the policies of the central government, where fuel prices hit a new high, and commuters, vehicle owners are really struggling in the face of this fuel hike. Congress leaders have now decided to protest by riding bullock carts. And this is how the Congress leaders protested against the fuel hike. Unique protest, as this is what they decided to do. Well, these are visuals of the protest in Hubli, where the KPCC president seems to be leading the protests. And Congress leaders have protested against a fuel hike by riding on bullock carts, and led by the KPCC president Dinesh Gundu Rao. Well, unique protest in Hubli, well, I'm joined by my colleague Arun on the phone line. Well, Arun, unique protest. This is how the Congress seems to have protested against Prime Minister Narendra Modi and the central government. Arun, but the Congress seems to be taking the fight to the centre.
Absolutely, because the belief is that the high dose of taxation which is levied on fuel is something which falls under the ambit of the Government of India. Remember, the tax which is levied is called the excise duty, and that needs to be curtailed, or that needs to be slashed to provide some kind of a relief to the people, particularly the consumers. Now, this protest, we see the KPCC chief Dinesh Gundu Rao astride a bullock cart, indicating that perhaps even as the nation were to make progress, we are going backwards in terms of the progress on usage of transportation and using modes of transport which are non-polluting and much more pocket-friendly. In fact, these kind of protests are the order of the day, Vijay, because a similar protest was also launched in Bengaluru, just as an addition, and there you found the members of the pro-Kannada organizations launch a cycle rally. So clearly, the protesters are saying that the ball is now in the Government of India's court. They will have to take a decision on whether they are in a position to slash the excise duty on fuel or not, Vijay.
Well, thank you, Arun, for joining us with all those details. Well, this is how the Congress decided to protest, and like my colleague Arun was saying, really hard-hitting at the central government for the fuel price hike. They prefer to go by those modes of transport which really don't need fuel. This is what the Congress did in Hubli. Hundreds of people have gathered at the Maurya Circle on the death anniversary of Gowdy Lankesh. The Gowdy Memorial Trust is holding the meet, demanding to ban the organization behind Gowdy Lankesh's murder. And rationalists are also expected to march from Maurya Circle to Raj Bhavan and submit a memorandum to the governor. Prakash Raj, Jignesh Pavani and other personalities attended the meeting. And hundreds of people gathered at the Maurya Circle on the death anniversary of Gowdy Lankesh. Gowdy Memorial Trust is holding the meeting, demanding to ban the organization behind Gowdy Lankesh's murder. And rationalists are also expected to march from Maurya Circle to Raj Bhavan. It's a bit of a memorandum to the governor. Well, we can see Prakash Rai there, who was among the people who had gathered at the event. And other personalities also attended this particular meeting in Chamarajpet. Well, members of the Jana Jagrati Vedike have protested against imposing the COCO Act on Gowdy murder accused. The SIT is proceeding the investigation of what Amritesh, the High Court lawyer, said innocent Hindus are being made victims, is what Amritesh is saying. Gowdy was killed over a property dispute, is what Amritesh is saying. And why isn't the SIT questioning Indrajit Lankesh and Kavita Lankesh? This is the big news which is just coming in. Members of Jana Jagrati Vedike protested against imposing an act, the COCO Act on the Gowdy murder accused. The SIT is misleading the investigation, is what Amritesh, a High Court lawyer, is saying. Innocent Hindus are being made victims. Gowdy was killed over a property dispute. Why isn't the SIT questioning Indrajit Lankesh and Kavita Lankesh, is what Amritesh is saying. These are visuals of the protests from Maurya Circle. Well, I'm joined by my colleague Nikhil on the phone line. Well, Nikhil, a protest against imposition of the COCO Act against those involved in the killing of Gowdy Lankesh. Now, the protesters also questioning as to why it's not being looked at it from the angle of a family dispute. How can they justify that, Nikhil?
It is bizarre, Michael. Let me begin by saying that when you have the special investigation team having conducted a thorough investigation into this matter, since it became the organization that was tasked with conducting a probe into the murder a few days after the murder of Gowdy Lankesh, there is so much evidence that has been collected. There is so much witness testimony that has been collected. There is so much testimony from the suspects that was collected, with the Forensic Sciences Laboratory in Gujarat also confirming Parshuram Wagmore's own testimony that he was the one who pulled the trigger. All of these have come in, and suddenly questions are being raised about who the antecedents of the murderers are. Now, there are certain connections that have come through as a result of a great deal of scrutiny. These connections did not just pop out in the middle of the air, and this has not necessarily been understood by those who are protesting. They're considering this as an attack on a particular ideology, which may very well not be the case over here when there are certain parameters within the case that are pointing in the direction that these differences, these criticisms that could have led to the murder over here. So many are arguing that these protests that are taking place, this protest by this particular organization, is without basis. What the advocate Amritesh is stating is without basis. These are the arguments that are coming out against this, and at the same time being brushed away as rather insignificant. Having said that, cognizance of the evidence must have or should have been taken into account, and it does appear that it's just a protest to divert attention away from the fact that it has been a year since Gowdy Lankesh was murdered in circumstances that have questioned whether the right to expression, a right to freedom of speech is existing in the country in the way it should be, Michael.
Yes, absolutely. Nikhil, but property dispute, that's what is being said by this particular High Court lawyer. Could it be that this killing was restricted to a mere property dispute? But that's a question we are asking. And they're also saying that the murder accused should not be tried according to the COCO Act. Is it just a move to deflect from what is actually happening in the case?
So they've forgotten that in the immediate aftermath of the murder, people were subject to some level of questioning, not necessarily an interrogation. That included family members, that included the siblings of Gowdy Lankesh. They appeared, Indrajit Lankesh appeared. There were all of these angles that were coming in. All that seems to have been forgotten in the year that has passed. And that level of interrogation seems to have happened in the immediate aftermath of the murder itself, within the first 3 to 4 weeks of it. So clearly there is a mismatch in what the facts are being dictated by Amritesh here and what's actually happened, Michael.
Right. Thank you so much, Nikhil, for joining us with all the details. Well, now a new angle surfacing to the Gowdy Lankesh murder, which is the angle by a High Court lawyer, Amritesh, who says that it could be a mere property dispute. And why isn't the SIT investigating the kith and kin of Gowdy Lankesh when all that it is probably a property dispute? And but of course, my colleague Nikhil saying that it cannot be so because the SIT wouldn't take it up if it was such a simple matter. More details emerge in the Gowdy Lankesh murder case. 45 people were trained to eliminate rationalists. This is what is emerging. 45 people trained in the jungles of Belagavi. People were being trained from 2010. The SIT had questioned several trained men. These are the details which are emerging in the Gowdy Lankesh murder case. 45 people were trained to eliminate rationalists. 45 people were trained in the jungles of Belagavi. People were being trained from 2010. The SIT had questioned several of these trained men. That is what has emerged from the Gowdy Lankesh murder. Well, more angles, more information, and definitely more intrigue being created in this particular murder case, which has been going on for exactly a year now. Today is a 1-year anniversary of Gowdy Lankesh's murder, and on that day, more details seem to be emerging on the murder case as the SIT has extracted plenty of information from those accused it has apprehended. We'll slip into a short break now, but more news and updates on the other side. Stay tuned.
Wife Anushka is dearly missing hubby Virat. Greg believes Virat Kohli's best is yet to come. Rafael Nadal, the gladiator, marches on at the US Open. Action replay.
Sandalwood actor Huccha Venkat was seen roaming around in a drunk state in Jnana Bharati campus today. People were seen thronging the streets to watch the actor, and these are visuals which were captured by a few people, and where Sandalwood actor Huccha Venkat was seen roaming around in a drunk state in Jnana Bharati campus today. And people were seen thronging the streets to watch the actor and what he was up to. Remember, Huccha Venkat is involved in plenty of controversies. He is a very controversial actor. He seems to draw attention wherever he goes. And this was one of those days where you can actually see people clicking selfies with him. This is on the Jnana Bharati campus and on the streets, rather, close to Jnana Bharati campus. And it is said that he was roaming around in an inebriated state. Motorists are facing the brunt of the district administration's confusing statement. Vehicles plying towards Shirdi Ghat were halted. The vehicles moving towards Mangaluru were stopped near the India checkpost. Remember, Shirdi Ghat was cut off for traffic after the floods in Kodagu, but now it is said that it was open. But now, again, there seems to be confusion of the movement of vehicles. Many of the vehicles were stopped at the checkpost near the Gundia checkpost. Vehicles moving towards Mangaluru were stopped near the Gundia checkpost. And motorists are facing the brunt of the district administration's confusing statement. This is what transpired in the Shirdi Ghat, where many vehicles were stopped because of confusing statements by the district administration. The Maharashtra government has filed an affidavit in the Supreme Court defending the action of the Pune police against the 5 activists who are under house arrest. The Maharashtra government claims that it has strong evidence against the 5 activists. The affidavit claims that the 5 activists had planned to incite violence. The Supreme Court will hear the case tomorrow. The Pune cops had arrested 5 activists, including Varavara Rao and Sudha Bharadwaj. The Maharashtra government has now filed an affidavit in the Supreme Court defending the action of the Pune police against the 5 activists who are under house arrest. The government claims that it has strong evidence against the 5 of them. It claims that the 5 activists had planned to incite violence. Supreme Court will hear the case tomorrow after it had ordered the activists to be placed under house arrest. In a huge show of strength, supporters of the expelled DMK leader MK Alagiri took out a silent protest rally from Valaja Road in Chennai to Karunanidhi Memorial at Marina Beach. It is also seen as a first show of strength against his brother MK Stalin. Alagiri has earlier stated that more than 5 lakh people would attend the rally. The tussle between the two brothers now goes back to 2009-10 when then DMK patriarch M. Karunanidhi chose MK Stalin over Alagiri. Alagiri was later expelled from the party in 2014 for anti-party activities. The internal conflict between him and his brother Stalin also played a significant role. It is being said that Karunanidhi always favoured MK Stalin over MK Alagiri. Security at Karunanidhi's memorial in Marina Beach was beefed up to avoid any untoward incidents. Well, the tragedy that struck Kolkata will stay with people for some more time. 1 person lost his life and around 25 people were severely injured. Search operations, which started yesterday, continued overnight. Many people are still feared trapped under the debris. Now, one of the witnesses claimed that he is not happy with the way rescue operations were carried out. He says 2 people, including his brother, are still trapped under the debris, but concerned officials have not acted on the same so far. And we have some big news just coming in. The Supreme Court has declined a petition calling for night driving to be allowed at Bandipur Forest Reserve. It sought movement through Bandipur to help in quicker relief. 3-judge bench led by Chief Justice Ravindranath Deepak Mishra upholds the night driving ban in Bandipur. This is the big news which is just coming in. The Supreme Court has declined the petition calling for night driving to be allowed in Bandipur Forest reserved. The petitioner had sought night movement through Bandipur to help in quicker relief to Kerala. This had come at a time when relief material was being supplied to Kerala. The three-judge bench led by Chief Justice of India Deepak Mishra upholds a night driving ban in Bandipur. The Deputy Chief Minister G. Parameshwar's city rounds are an exercise ahead of the cabinet expansion is what sources are saying. The Deputy Chief Minister's city rounds are an attempt to save a Bengaluru development portfolio. Parameshwar's aides have advised him to understand the city better. Ramalinga Reddy likely to lobby for Bengaluru development. And Dr. G. Parameshwar is trying hard to keep Ramalinga Reddy at bay, is what sources are saying. So the tussle seems to be between Ramalinga Reddy and Dr. G. Parameshwar, because Ramalinga Reddy is vying for the Bengaluru development portfolio, and the Deputy Chief Minister is trying to keep him at bay. And he said he's trying to understand the development of the city during his city rounds, but it's an attempt to save the Bengaluru development portfolio. The Deputy Chief Minister's city rounds are an exercise ahead of cabinet expansion, is what sources are saying. Well, while we brought you news from the world of politics and other stories, we also bring you news from our weird world where many different things happen. We leave you with nuggets from Weird News. Stay tuned.
We have seen many artworks, but this one is unique indeed. Well, encaustic is artwork using wax. Look what she does.